The camera pans over a modest home, the faint sound of children's laughter in the background. A father, David, is finishing up his third shift at a 24-hour convenience store. His tired eyes struggle to stay open as he punches out on the time clock, his clothes still drenched in sweat from the long hours. With a deep sigh, he grabs his jacket and heads out into the night, the weight of the world on his shoulders. As the sun begins to rise, David arrives home, his body sore from the long hours of work. The house is quiet. He walks past the living room where his wife Lisa is asleep on the couch and into the kitchen. He notices a half-finished breakfast that his children, Sophie and Jake, had left behind. He stares at the dishes, silently wishing for a moment of rest. David doesn't have time to rest, though. He begins to prepare for the next job, a long haul, as a delivery driver. His wife wakes up grudgingly and barely acknowledges his presence. Sophie and Jake, still groggy from sleep, shuffle past him, too caught up in their own worlds to notice the exhaustion in his face. Throughout the next few weeks, David's routine becomes even more grueling. He wakes up at 5 a.m., works 2 jobs during the day, and then drives for a third at night. He misses family dinners, soccer games, and the small moments that matter the most. His children grow used to seeing him leave early in the morning and come home late at night, always too tired to talk. His wife is preoccupied with her own life, her work, and her own stresses. The house feels cold. David feels invisible. No one asks how his day went. No one sees the toll his sacrifices are taking. One evening, after a particularly brutal shift, David arrives home to find that Lisa has planned a family outing to the park. Sophie and Jake are excited, but when David explains that he's too tired, his wife brushes it off with a quick, maybe next time. David retreats to his bedroom, his heart sinking. The kids' voices echo outside, their laughter and excitement a sharp contrast to the deep ache inside him. He sits on the edge of the bed, his head in his hands, realizing that no one sees him. He's given everything for them, and yet he feels unseen. A few days later, while David is working his third job, Lisa gets a call from the school. Sophie has been struggling in school, and Jake has been acting out. David's absence has begun to show in their behavior. Lisa realizes she's been so focused on her own work, her own worries, that she hasn't noticed how much the children are missing their father. She's failed to see that David's endless hours of work aren't just to pay the bills, they're a cry for help, a plea for connection. Later that night, Lisa gathers the family in the living room. Sophie and Jake are puzzled, not used to having family conversations. Lisa begins by apologizing for her own neglect, then shifts to a deeper conversation about how much David has sacrificed for them. She speaks about the long hours, the missed moments, and how David's invisible burden has affected them all. The children sit in silence, realizing for the first time how much their father has given up for them. Sophie's eyes well up with tears as she remembers the birthday party she had wanted him to attend, but he had been too tired. Jake clenches his fists, feeling guilty for the times he had taken his father's love for granted. David arrives home that night, exhausted, but something feels different. Lisa, Sophie, and Jake are all waiting for him. They stand as he walks in, and the silence in the room is replaced with a soft, heartfelt acknowledgement. Lisa walks up to David, gently taking his hand. "We've been so wrapped up in our own lives, David. We didn't see what you were going through. We didn't appreciate you the way we should have. I'm sorry." Sophie and Jake, each holding something small Sophie a handmade card, Jake a framed picture of them all approach him. They give him the tokens of appreciation, and in that moment, David feels something he hasn't felt in years: love and recognition. Sophie speaks up, her voice trembling. "Dad, I'm sorry I didn't notice how hard you work. I see it now, and I promise I'll be better," Jake adds. "I never understood why you were always so tired, but now I do." "Thank you, Dad. I love you." From that moment on, things begin to change. David doesn't stop working, but he begins to make time for his family. Lisa, Sophie, and Jake take steps to help with the household, and they begin to prioritize family time, game nights, trips to the park, dinners together. The invisible burden David once carried becomes a shared weight, and for the first time he doesn't feel alone. As the story closes, David is seen walking into work for the last time, his children running to meet him, a sense of peace on his face. His family has finally seen him, and they won't let him go unnoticed again. The camera fades out as David walks hand in hand with Sophie and Jake, their laughter filling the air. He's still a father who works hard for his family, but now he knows they see him, and that makes all the difference.